NFL is removing the words "end racism" from the end zone ahead of Super Bowl Sunday. It's the first time that those words will not be stenciled in at least one of the end zones since February of 2021. Despite some big changes in Washington recently, the commissioner of America's most popular sports league says his organization is committed to continuing diversity initiatives. Mike Silver is a national columnist at The Athletic. He has been reporting on this and joins us now for more on Sunday's big game. Mike, thank you so much for being with us. You have spoken to your sources who tell you that the NFL is going to be removing the words "end racism" from the end zones, and they're going to be stenciling in "choose love" instead. What's behind the change?
Well, Nancy, this was a very conscious decision by the league. And it can only be framed under the prism of what's going on politically. So many institutions, as you know, are either voluntarily or involuntarily moving away from DEI and other shows of anti-racism in this country. And so it coalesces with the expected attendance of the president, which is the first time a sitting president will attend a Super Bowl. They made that decision, told the people up high, this is what we're doing. And then a couple of days later, the commissioner went out and did stick up for DEI in his press conference.
Have you been able to get a sense of how that decision is sitting with the players?
You know, it's interesting. Players are far less galvanized than they were when this practice started, and that was in the wake of the George Floyd sparked protests and the civil unrest in the summer of 2020. Back then, the constituency, and especially the players within the NFL, was very, very motivated to try to affect change and make these type of statements. It was a topic of discussion in every locker room. This last season, we saw some players dancing, doing the Trump dance in celebration. So things have definitely shifted within NFL locker rooms to some degree for now. I've not heard a lot of players expressing, any sort of displeasure with this, but I will be talking to them in the coming days, and I would imagine that some of them are pretty upset.
Mike, the NFL in recent years has made some inroads into the diversity space. One of the most well-known DEI initiatives at the league is this Rooney Rule, which aims to increase the number of minorities and females in top positions across all 32 NFL organizations. What does the future look like for other diversity programs within the NFL now that obviously the message that they're getting from Washington is that various organizations should take a step back?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've been covering the league for 35 years, and the systemic racism involved in the hiring process, retention process, involved in second chances, and on when it comes to head coaching and general manager jobs, has been rampant. And there have been times where it's gotten better, but it's still a problem. The Rooney Rule, which is longstanding, was designed to give minorities at least a chance to get into the interview process and have a chance to impress owners and, on the way to hopefully getting some of these jobs. But one bad byproduct of the Rooney Rule, which has been tweaked a few times, is that when a team really wants to hire a white coach or general manager, sham interviews sometimes seem to be a result of that. And there is some blowback toward that. But I believe the commissioner when he said on Monday that they are sticking with their commitment to DEI. It would be very, very frowned upon among players and others within the 32 organizations if he was perceived as completely kowtowing to the new political environment. But then again, we've seen a lot of corporations reverse course, and we got to keep a close eye on this in the coming months.
Right. I mean, President Trump has been harshly critical of the NFL and its players in particular in the past, especially when a lot of them were kneeling during the national anthem. Now he's going to be in attendance on Sunday. So what's the atmosphere around his anticipated presence. You've seen a lot of players being very circumspect when they're asked about him coming. They say it's an honor for any president to be attending the big game. What are you hearing about what's expected?
Well, he's obviously an incredibly polarizing figure. And when it comes to race, any political divisions within NFL locker rooms tend to disappear when it comes to issues of bigotry and racism, because it just seems so stupid in that context. These people are joining together from different backgrounds, different places to try to form a brotherhood and collectively do something epic and win a championship, culminating in this massive game that hundreds of millions of people watch. And they're very sensitive to how stupid some racist depictions are, because they live it every day and they know those stereotypes are stupid. And what happened in the wake of the George Floyd murder is that a lot of white players, such as now Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff, who I've had many conversations with about this, many white players started listening to their black teammates and saying, wow, I never understood your experiences were so pronounced, and really wanting to help get involved and make changes. Obviously, as you referenced, the kneeling inspired by Colin Kaepernick, those messages of protest against police brutality also galvanized the players in the years preceding that. And you're right, President Trump, I believe, called the kneelers SOBs, which did not go over well. I believe that was back in 2017.
Mike, before you go, I have to ask, because you are the expert, you recently interviewed Travis Kelce. What are you predicting for Sunday? Are you expecting a three-peat for the Kansas City Chiefs, or you think the Eagles are going to pull this one off?
I'm glad you asked, Nancy. It's such a tough question because the Eagles look like a comprehensively better team, but the Chiefs have an incredible head coach in Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes, one of the most luminous stars ever at 29, going for a fourth Super Bowl championship and an unprecedented third in a row. There's so many great competitors in the NFL, and usually when they come up against Patrick Mahomes, somehow either wins or almost wins. So for that reason, I always pick Patrick Mahomes in these contexts. I just figure that he and the Chiefs will find a way.
That is the correct answer. Not that I am biased, but I appreciate you, Mike, because you are the authority. I really appreciate it. Mike Silver of The Athletic, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.